peace, the restless, ever-moving prey that eludes the king. Now come the lengthening days of his reign. Many were the battles, and those fought long. Many a son, a father, a brother were given over to the swords of Leon. But where once the protection of his realm and the glory of battle drove the king, there was, in the wintering of his years, only the desire for peace. And in these thoughts and desires was he joined by the King of Leon. And so it was that the king sent his son to Leon to sign the treaty that would free the two kingdoms from the harness of war.
There's a scene in the show that involves an ambush of a prince by some warriors from another kingdom, which wouldn't have been uncommon 1,000 years ago if he was traveling with a small retinue of guards from one kingdom to another. And as we created the scene, we imagined that this prince and his small guard are riding up a river, and they're ambushed by people disguised as barbarians. And then we took the seed of that idea, the fight started, the choreography started to come together, but we always kept that vision of what was if this was happening outside the arena. Then we took the creative process and brought it inside the arena and says, well, how much of that can we recreate?
All right, gentlemen, let's do that again from the beginning. On guard. Left shoulder, left shoulder. Put the sword up, hand high. Feet together, Jeremy. Little force, Jack. There you go. Rounding in. All right, go get him. 2 big steps forward. That's it. Now run the other way. Back him up. Back him up. 2 big breaths. Now find the middle. Hold your head up, Matt. Body language, guys. Legs apart. Keep the rope tight. Keep it tight and straight, because you do that in the show too, okay? The qualifications that Medieval Times is looking for in a knight are probably quite similar to the qualifications that would make a good candidate for a real knight. There are physicalities, obviously, and age, height to weight ratio to make a good knight to be able to do the fighting and the riding. But to me, it comes down to character and integrity and work ethic and the ability to take direction and trust.
And we expect you to be a representative of a glorious age. You know, it's a privilege to do what we do.
The Medieval Times Ranch at Chapel Creek is a magical place. There are days when the fog rolls in, there's rolling hills, and you'll see a herd of beautiful white horses passing from left to right or from back to front. You'll see the young horses kicking up in the fields because they're feeling good, having a good day. It's just a beautiful place.
Medieval Times has a 250-acre ranch north of Dallas. It has a river that runs through it, rolling hills, green grass, flowers in the spring. If I was a horse, that is definitely a place where I would want to live. You know, we pull their shoes off, we let them run around, we let them be a horse, we let them socialize. it's a wonderful place to be.
When I came to medieval times, I'd never been exposed to horses before. Horses have taught me more about myself as a person than probably anything else in this world. Horses have such a noble character, and they're motivated by the purest of things. But there's also a massive intelligence behind what they do. They will teach you to just be real, to be yourself. Horses don't lie to you. Our horses are performers. They live for the performance. They cannot wait to get out in the arena. You know, that's their job. You know, that's what they love to do.
And then at a certain point, you see the first spark or you see the first impact, and he goes, am I really going to see a sword fight? That's impossible. They can't do it. The very first time you see a lance break, and you hear it, and you see the recoil of the knight's body on the horse, and you see these fragments flying through the air, and you hear it, and you realize it's not a guy up there pushing a button. It's not a special effect, because the resonance of the sound is different every time, and it's too instant. And then you see these guys sit up in their seat and go, okay, this is real. The weapons here in the show at Medieval Times are quite functional and quite real. They're not sharp for obvious reasons. The evolution of the weapons over the last 25 years is pretty exciting. The better we get at this, the stronger they are, the lighter they are, but they actually look and they are actually made much like an actual medieval sword. As you can see by the nicks, they're quite deep and we hit quite hard. This is a horseback sword, which is a little handle heavy, which makes the handle counterbalance the blade so that it can be swung easily off of a horse. This is the two-handed double ball bola. This is the most ferocious and powerful weapon in the show. It is also the most difficult to master. velocities achieved at the end of this weapon exceed over 100 miles an hour. This weapon is also considerably dangerous for the person who's swinging it if he doesn't understand the dynamics that he's dealing with. This is real. This is a functional weapon. This is as real as it gets. This is a two-handed axe. One of the most frequently asked questions as a knight is, how do we make the weapon spark? There are no special effects here. It's all real. If you look at this deep gouge in the metal, what's happening is my knights are striking with so much force that you're cutting and removing chunks of metal.
When you're a guest at Medieval Times and you're watching two warriors standing toe-to-toe, swinging weapons at each other, you're watching something that's remained unchanged for centuries. These are real weapons swung at real speed by some very highly trained, very powerful people. So if you're at our show, that would have been your experience watching a medieval tournament 1,000 years ago.
Peace or death!
One of the great ways to get an audience involved at Medieval Times is to show them the aspect that they're at a sporting event, regardless of what date it takes place, and that their participation, their enthusiasm can actually help change the outcome of the show. Until you've seen it live, you've never truly seen a medieval tournament. Thrills, action, romance, suspense. You can see our show over and over again, and each time you see it, you'll experience something new. The only place in the world that you can live that experience is at Medieval Times. After the show, you'll see a light in a child's face, and you know that you touched their imagination, that you've sparked a fairy tale come alive for them. If we've done our jobs, I think they go home at night, they lay their head on their pillow, and they dream about being a princess or a knight. And if they do that, I think we've created a memory that'll last a lifetime.
And we pray that you soon return back to Medieval Times!
Now at Medieval Times. More unbridled excitement. More thrilling combat. Let your imagination take you where you've never been before. More chivalry and romance. The new show at Medieval Times Dinner and Tournament. Call 1-888-WE-JOUST or MedievalTimes.com.